in a conversation around the digital workforce and the advancements that are happening there. I'm Allan Dale from Gale Force Winds, and I want to tell you, I really enjoy talking about how we can help people find their future in technology right here in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. So first off, I'd like to ask you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
I'm Jacqueline Lee. I'm the CEO of Polyunity Tech Inc. So we're a local med tech company focused on bringing additive manufacturing into the healthcare space and digitizing the supply chain. I also have the pleasure of being the chair of the Tech&L board and get to work with CEO Florian Villaumé quite frequently.
Florian, over to you now that your boss is in the room. Go ahead.
I need to be careful. Florian Villaumé, and I'm the CEO of Tech&L. We support the growth of the tech sector here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Ajay Pande, Director of Industry Engagement here at Kean College and former board member years back for Tech&L.
You know, I guess right off the top, Jacqueline, what does digital transformation mean to you?
Oh my gosh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
And we've asked ourselves as a Tech&L, who do we serve? What does a tech company mean? And I think every company now is either tech-focused or tech-enabled, or if they're not, they should be. And one of our main purposes is to help companies along that journey and support them in their digital transformation.
Yeah, and of course that comes with you know, a whole sort of new language, a new style of education, and of course what I'm talking about here may be digital literacy. And maybe Florian, you could speak to that point. Digital literacy, what does that mean from your lens?
Oh, and for me, it's just learning the tools you need to embrace opportunities that are provided with new technologies. It's not something really new, it's ongoing, and it will accelerate in the future. And for me, like it's not for a specific group of people, it's for everybody, because there are opportunities to use technology in any sectors. Technology is in any sectors. And even myself, you know, I've done this micro-credential on artificial intelligence, and I saw a lot of value in it, and I want to continue to learn more to be able to bring more value as a CEO.
So let's stay on that micro-credential. Of course, digital literacy requiring people to learn a little bit differently and maybe trying to get their learning in a condensed format. Aj, maybe you could give us a little brief overview about what exactly is a micro-credential.
Yeah, sure. It's think of it as a bite-sized chunk of credential or training that you can do, usually 20 to 30 hours in total, focused on upskilling. And in our case, we're focusing on upskilling from a digital perspective. The modality is typically online, instructor-led. And you know, if you missed a course, there's a recording available. And at the end, you typically get a certification, so like a badge. But the opportunity really with a micro-credential is to learn a specific skill set at a broad brush really quickly and empower you to be more effective, more competitive in your role as you move forward, especially in this global digital transformation that we're experiencing everywhere in the world today.
And I assume you're not doing this in a vacuum as an academic institution. You're probably leaning in to industry partners. From an industry perspective, are these micro-credentials meeting industry needs?
Oh, absolutely. And I think we've done a lot of work. I mean, this is a long-term partnership we've had. We've had a lot of dialogue. We've surveyed the community, surveyed our members, and really wanted to bring forth micro-credentials that could be immediately useful and applicable. I mean, even Florian, you've chatted to me about some of the things you've learned and have applied right away.
Yeah.
And that's in your leadership role. So
that's pretty amazing, right? If the leader of the organization is believing it so much, he's taken it. I mean, that's a real selling point. How much uptake has there been on the micro-credentials, Florian?
So I would say there are two levels. One from members. We heard that many members took advantage of it and see the value of it. And I would say they have been designed by the industry, for the industry. So in some ways, we are not surprised because it meets the needs and it's designed to meet the needs of the industry. Within the organization, we also had many staff that took the micro-credential on generative AI and also on technical sales. And what's interesting is for the technical sales is that some people are using also just the sales part of it to apply it to their job because we also have customers who are our members, so or companies or talents. So we saw a lot of interest in it. And as I mentioned, personally, I did the AI one. I saw tons of applications And like we right now at TechNL we are managing our two biggest projects in the history. I can tell you we are busy, but I also can tell you that it's the value added, the return on investment you get is significant. So we cannot use the excuse of not being busy to not doing those kind of courses, because the return on investment is very high for you and your organization.
Aj, who are these credentials for, and how do they get access to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's you see digital transformation, like Florian and Jacqueline said, everybody's being impacted by this. So these credentials are for everybody. They're available to everybody in Newfoundland and Labrador, regardless of the jurisdiction. And from the uptake that we've had, which has been tremendous, it's spanning every sector. Like we're seeing municipalities, Newfoundland and Labrador. We're seeing the tech sector, Genesis. We're also seeing governmental offices. Like there's something there for everybody. We have quality assurance, quality control, AWS, which are much more software focused. But again, people want to move into those sort of roles. They're gateways and entry points. But then cybersecurity, AI, and tech sales, they're for everybody. And we're seeing that in our uptake as well.
Easy to get access to?
Very easy to get access to. I mean, if you want, that QR code takes you right to the enrollment page, www.keen.com. And TechNL has a landing page as well for access. The great thing right now is, as part of the TechNL-led ESDC funding, through government, these credentials are free. They're typically around $3,000. So until March 31st, the remaining seats are all free. So we really want to make sure nobody misses out. They are selling out because we've just had tremendous uptake. And this is really just to say, if you're interested, take advantage now while it's free.
Jacqueline, to you, there'd be people watching this and saying, is that for me? Or supervisors or managers saying, I'm wondering if my employees should go on this particular course. What would you say to them looking at these micro-credentials as they exist?
I mean, that's a personal lesson I've learned. Sometimes I joke and said I wasted 20 years in the construction and property management field before I was pulled kicking and screaming into the tech sector. I just had this preconceived notion that I was starting from the bottom and that there wasn't a place for me. So I love to tell everybody that story because I could not have been more wrong. And I've never been more rewarded and never worked harder, but I love what I do every single day, and I'm an accountant flourishing in the tech sector. So I think the same lesson serves this program and serves these offerings. There is a space for everyone. It will only open doors regardless of the path or journey that you're interested in. So yeah, I'd encourage everyone to fill up those remaining seats that are left. And TechNL will work hard to bring some sort of programming like this back in the future, because clearly the demand is there and we need these skills and we need these folks working in this flourishing tech sector. So I'm just excited that it's here and that folks can take advantage of it.
Florian, from a leadership view, you're leading TechNL through this incredibly fun and exciting time. It must be really rewarding for you to see an offering like this right now.
Oh, it's amazing. And what's really rewarding is that it serves a need. It's built to have an impact, and it's having an impact on many organizations, on the sector in general, on branding the sector, because those micro-credentials, what's interesting is that there are needs in other places in Canada, and some other places didn't figure out the way to bring those skills on generative AI, on technical sales, and that shows that we are developing our leadership, and we are showcasing how to do it from Newfoundland and Labrador.
What an incredible conversation. I thank you all for joining us on Gale Force Winds. To watch government, industry, and academia work so effectively together, knowing that the end beneficiary are the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, and we're going to take this province to a whole other level and take the products that we make here, the ideas that we have here, to the global stage. It's incredible to think about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.